If you've ever felt completely overwhelmed by portrait photography, or just at a loss of what to focus on to take you to that next level, then come hang with me. I help guide portrait photographers just like you to stay clear and sharp in camera and with your goals. I'm your host, photographer, educator, and weirdly positive mama of four, Emily Supio. And this is the Stay Focused podcast. Photography advice to help you stay focused. Well, hey everyone, it's Emily Supio, and thank you so much for pressing play on today's episode of the Stay Focused podcast. Now, I watch a show regularly with, two of my four kids really like this show, and maybe it's one you've seen before too, or maybe you've at least heard about the show, but the show is called Shark Tank. And if you are thinking about starting a photography business, or even if you have a business right now, even though it's a show that does not really cover service-based businesses too much, it still is a really great and insightful and educational show to help with that entrepreneurial, that's a hard word for me to say, that mindset. Now, if you haven't seen the show before, let me give you like the 10-second synopsis of what it is. There are, I think, 5 or 6 investors, people that have created their own super mega successful businesses that want to invest in small businesses. And these small business owners come on the show, they pitch their idea, they ask for an investment from these people. And usually these investors either invest in their business and help them out, or give them advice, which can be really, really helpful for you as a photography business owner, if that's what you're looking to do, is move into business. Well, one of these investors is self-named Mr. Wonderful. And if you've seen the show before, you know exactly who I'm talking about. But he is very brutally honest with some of these new small business owners. And a lot of the times, if he chooses not to invest, he looks at them and he asks them, is this really a business or is it a hobby? Or he might say something like, you don't have a business, you have a hobby. And this occurs on more than one episode and more than one occasion when he's giving advice to these up and coming small business owners. And so what I want to focus on in today's episode is talking to you about getting really clear about photography as a business for you, and if it's just a hobby or if it really is a business. Now, with that said, either one is perfectly fine. There's not one route that is better than another. I'm not saying that being a business means you're a better photographer or that's the better choice at all. A hobbyist and a hobbyist photographer is a perfectly wonderful choice. They're equally perfect. It just depends on what you want. But in today's episode, I want to get really clear on what that is that you might want to do with your photography passion. If you are a photographer that definitely knows that you want to pivot from hobby into business, or if you already have a business and you just want to pivot into more growth in that business, I want to help you. This week, I have a new photography business class for photographers who want to start or grow a successful, profitable photography business. And you can access that class today by going to cozyclicks.com/business class. You'll also find the direct link anywhere you are listening to this podcast right now. So just click on the description or click in the show notes, and the direct link for you to sign up and watch that free business class today will be in there for you. It's only about 40 minutes. You can watch it at your convenience, and it's going to help you set up or grow that business of your dreams even more. I'm looking forward to seeing you there. So I can remember when I first got my hands on the borrowed camera from my dad. I talk about how I acquired his old model camera quite a bit. But when I first started playing around with photography, it was 100% a hobby for me. I was tinkering around with it. I wanted to take great pictures of my kids. I was just starting to have kids. It was totally a hobby for me. And I think a lot of people start that way with getting their hands on a camera and wanting to take great pictures of their kids. Maybe that's even you. But a lot of us see this world, I guess, of business on social media, and it seems so easy, right? And it seems so luxurious, and it seems just like anyone can do it, right? And you might start thinking, yeah, that's what I want to do too. I want to make $5,000 extra a month, or I want to be a six-figure business. Like, that sounds really cool. I'm good with photography. Let me turn it into a business. Well, let's talk for a minute about the difference between the two, because there is a big difference between photography as a hobby and photography as a business. So, and that might seem really apparent to you, but for some reason, and for a lot of entrepreneurs, because just like I was talking about earlier on the show Shark Tank, we see over and over and over that there's entrepreneurs that it's more of a hobby than a business. And so I want you to get really clear on which avenue it is that you really want to take with your photography passion. So if it's a hobby for you, if photography is your hobby, you're doing it because you want to, right? It's fun to you. You like to get out the camera. You like trying new things. You like being creative. You like having those memories of your kids, and you don't really care if you make money or not. You know, maybe your neighbor asked you to take family pictures for them during the holiday times. And if they give you a couple bucks, cool. If not, it doesn't really make or break you. It doesn't really matter too much. It also is a hobby for you if your client base isn't consistent. So if you're thinking right now, like, oh yeah, I'd like to be in business, I'd like to make money, but it's just if it happens. So if you happen to get lucky and there's clients that come in, that's cool. If not, you're cool with that too. So there's not that continuing month after month client base. There's not any real desire for profits there, and you're having fun doing it. Okay. So that's a photography hobby. And like I said before, it's not that that's bad. Okay. It's not that that's not correct. It's totally correct to have photography as a hobby, but I just want you to be clear on if your passion is more of a hobby or more of a business. So let's talk now about the business side of photography. So if it's in your mind that you want to start a business, then you are doing things that are helping you regularly seek out those clients. It's not just kind of if they show up, that's cool. If they don't, that's cool. You've got a plan in place where you are very intentionally getting out there and doing something to generate those clients again and again and again, and not just generate them so you have the same amount every month. You're trying to grow those clients too, and you're very conscious about putting strategies in place to make that happen. So that's one sign that you are more on the business side than the hobby side of photography, okay? And then another sign that you are definitely moving in the direction of a business, or you're in a business right now, is that you're charging every time. You have a set price, you have a set package, and you're making a profit from it. So you're not just telling people things like, you can pay me what you want, or I'm not really sure what I'm charging, or something like that. Okay. I'm trying to think of ideas right now in my head and nothing is really coming to me, but you've got a set price and you've gone through and figured out, okay, what are my expenses? What do I need? And able to make a profit from that. So you're thinking about that, and you have a consistent stream of income. So you know what's going to come in this month. And again, it doesn't have to be that it's $5,000 or you're a six-figure business. You can be a business that's smaller scale. So maybe you've got $500 coming in this month, let's say, and you have $500 coming in next month. You know that that's consistently going to happen. Okay. So I want you to think for a minute, which direction are you going right now? Are you more that hobby side or more that business side? And if you're thinking you are kind of more that business direction, or you want to be more that business direction, let's get into that too. I want to talk about some factors or things that you should consider if that's the direction you want to go, if you want to turn your hobby into a business. Okay. Now, if you're like, you know what, I just want to have fun with it, I'm a hobby. Again, that's fine. And stop right there and just pick your camera up and have fun today. You can even stop this episode if you want. Well, I'd like you to stick around because I like hanging out with you, but let's talk a little bit more about what you need to consider if you're going to turn that hobby into a business, or if you're going to take what you're thinking as a business that you've already started right now, and let's turn it into a real business. So you definitely, you still want to have fun with it. Okay. You still want to have that passion for photography, and you want to have fun doing it. You can't just buy a camera and say, okay, I'm going to have a photography business. You've got to have that desire for photography first and foremost, right? And then you got to really start thinking through your financial goals. What is it that you want to make? What is it that you want from this photography business in terms of money? And I know sometimes money is a little bit of a touchy subject, or we think we're supposed to be making something because everybody else is, but I want you to think about you and your own financial situation and your own financial goals, and really work through that and understand what your goals would be with a photography business. And then you've also got to think about your marketing. You've got to come up with a plan and a marketing strategy. And people get very, very confused on this part. Okay, because a lot of photographers don't have that business or marketing or sales background. And we just expect that, taking a great picture, clients are going to want us to take their picture and pay us because, well, we can take good pictures, right? But that's not necessarily the case. So you've got to create a plan for yourself. You've got to take action and have something that's consistent and continually going, that's going to help market to those clients. Right. And I mean, think about it just like any small business you shop at. It doesn't necessarily have to be photography business, but if if there's a store you shop at, or a hair salon that you go to, or you get your nails done, or a small clothing boutique in your area, wherever you shop at, they have marketing strategies in place that have got you to the store, right? Maybe it was a coupon, maybe signs, maybe they've got great word of mouth marketing strategies. There was something that they did that sparked your interest. And in your mind, you said, okay, I want to go be a client or a customer at their store. So they had strategies in place. So just like when you go shopping at small businesses, they have marketing strategies in place that found you. You have to have marketing strategies in place that are going to find those clients that want to pay you to take their picture. Okay. So just some things to think about, some things to consider when you decide, yeah, I want to start my photography business, or yeah, I've started it, but I want to start really taking it seriously. So let's go through some of those steps. Okay. I don't just want to kind of like throw up all this information on you, but let's kind of take a step-by-step approach to what to do. Okay. Now that you've realized these factors, you've realized the path that you want to take. When you're transitioning from a hobby to a business, or from a smaller business or a startup business to wanting to grow into something more, you've got to think of things like your brand, your messaging, the copywriting, the words you put out that are connected to your photography business. So those are things sometimes that we don't think of, but that's a great first step when you're trying to understand where you're positioning yourself as a business. Okay. The next thing you want to do is build up your portfolio. Make sure it's really consistent. So if you've already started, well, you're listening to this now. So at least you're a photography hobbyist right now, right? You've got great pictures. You can take good pictures. Take a look at your portfolio right now. It's not, your portfolio is not based on the amount of pictures you have. You want to make sure you're showcasing the best that you have, but also the best that you have that you can consistently produce. So if you got lucky and created one really gorgeous shot, you don't want to necessarily showcase that in your portfolio if you don't think you can recreate a shot like that again. So you want to make sure that you've really niched down your portfolio. And you can do this today. You can take a look at your portfolio and what you have up on social media or on your website or what you're sharing with others, and make sure that it's really consistent and niche down. And that's going to help you with your business. Then the next thing you want to do is you want to create that marketing plan, because you need to have that consistent income and consistent client base always going, always moving, because that's how your business evolves, right? It's like the gears to your business. It's the wheels, it's the engine that keeps your business going. So it's imperative that you have some kind of process in place. And again, if you're more of a hobby, it's probably that process right there is missing, right? Or you don't care if it's there or not because you're just doing it for fun. But if a business is what you want, you need that engine. You need that marketing engine or that system to keep your business fueled, to keep it going and going and going. Okay. All right. This was kind of a fun episode today. I hope that it really got you thinking a little bit about your path with photography. And I just want to kind of summarize and recap that whatever path you're on with your photography passion, as long as you're having fun with it, it's the perfect path for you. So if you right now are a hobbyist and that's what you always want to be with photography, that is 100% great. And I am cheering for you and rooting you on. Pick up that camera, have fun, get creative, smile when you're doing it. If what you want to do is take and pivot to become a business or grow the business you already have, then you're going to want to really consider some of the things we talked about today, and then go step by step through some of the points that I made so that you are becoming a business, so that you are growing a business, so that you can take your love of photography and make money from it, make profits from it, make people happy when you're taking their picture, and create that business and that business model that you love. All right. And you know what? If you haven't checked out the show Shark Tank, I'm totally not affiliated with it, but I'm just thinking of that again and trying to think of some of the fun, quirky things they say on there. But you definitely should check that out as an entrepreneur, because again, even though it's not a lot of service-based businesses that are on there, some of the information that is given on the show, it really, really is helpful for business owners just in general. So I don't know, maybe check that out and see. All right, you guys, I appreciate you. I appreciate every time you listen to the show, every time you press play on the show. And if you find value in this and you know someone else who is a photographer and would also find value, I would love it if you would just send them a text or email with a link to the show and say, hey, here's a show that you might like that might be helpful for you. It's always helpful when we learn from each other and share with each other. And I love to promote that positivity with other photographers too. So if you found it helpful, share it with someone today. And if you have been listening to the show for a while and really enjoy it, I would love if you would head over to iTunes or Spotify or YouTube, wherever you are listening to the show right now. Hit that subscribe button, leave a quick rating and review for the show. I would so appreciate it. All right. Until next week, here's to staying in focus in camera and with your goals. Bye for now.